This is Algebra 1, spring test number 1. We got through lesson 5.3, it's part 2. Graphing the linear equation, picking up on number 18. Y is equal to mx plus b, negative 3x minus 4, where negative 3 is your m or your slope, and negative 4 is your y-intercept. Remember, the slope, the sign in front of the number goes with it. So negative 4 is your b, and negative 3 is your m. When you graph an equation, you need a plane. B tells you where to begin on your y-axis. Remember, your y is the one going up and down. It says negative 4, so at negative 1, 2, 3, 4 is where you're going to begin on your y-intercept. Your slope is negative 3. Remember, again, slopes are always fractions. In this case, it's not written as a fraction, so you have to create a fraction by putting it over the only number you're allowed to put it over. 1 is the only number you're allowed to put it over, because if you divide it by anything else, it ceases being the number negative 3. That says negative 3. Rise over run tells you to go down 3. Run tells you to go to the right 1. So from where we began at negative 4, we're going to go down 3 more. 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1. And our second point's going to go right there. Once you have 2 points like that, you draw a straight line through the 2 points, and your graph sketched out should look something like that. Number 19 says solve the equation for y, then graph the equation. So the only thing you have to do with this one is you have to get y equals mx plus b. You have to get y all by itself. The only thing that is not y, if you look at just the left side of the equation, is negative 2x. It's adding to y. So you undo negative 2x by adding 2x, since it's the inverse of minus 2x. And if you do it to the left side, you add 2x to the right side. Remember, y equals mx plus b. Put your mx term first, or positive 2x, and then negative 3. Now it says y equals mx plus b. So this is your m value, your slope, and this is your b value, your y-intercept. Graphing this equation, you begin at negative 1, 2, 3. Again, that's what your b says, to begin there at negative 3. Your slope, again, is an integer value like it was a minute ago, 2. So we put it over the number 1. That tells us to go up 2 and to the right 1. So up 1, 2, and to the right 1, and that's where your second point goes. Once you have 2 points, draw yourself a straight line through both of them to sketch a graph to look like that. And then from 20 to 23, you're solving multi-step equations. For number 20, you're getting x by itself, but there's x's on both sides of your equation. Bring the smaller 2x over to the larger 3x. It's positive 2x. So subtract 2x. If you do it to the left, do it to the right, do it to the left. 3x minus 2x is 1x. You still have minus 8 there. It's still equal to negative 3. Undo minus 8 now, because we want to get x by itself, by adding 8. If you add it to the left, add it to the right. X is 5. For number 21, again, you have a left side and a right side, and there's d's on both sides. But before you can bring anything across the equal sign, you need to combine all of your like terms. 8d minus 4d is going to be 4d, and 4d plus 2d is 6d. So we have 6d minus 8 is equal to 5d. Again, typically we would bring our smaller 5d over to our larger 6d, but since there's a negative 8 over there with it, we would have to move that as well. So instead of doing that, we can bring 6d this way. It's positive. So undo that by subtracting 6d. If you do it there, do it here. 5d minus 6d is negative 1d. So negative 1d, these cancel, is equal to negative 8. In order to get d by itself, divide by negative 1 to undo the multiplication. And if you do it to the right, do it to the left. A negative divided by a negative is a positive 8. 22 says 8 over 9 times x plus 3 is equal to 8. Again, undo your order of operations backwards. So undo plus 3 by subtracting 3 on both sides. 8 minus 3 is 5. That's equal to 8 over 9 times x. Remember, we would undo multiplication of 8 over 9 by dividing. We would divide by 8 over 9. But also remember, dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So instead of writing a step out to divide and then on the next step multiplying by the reciprocal, we can simply multiply by the reciprocal right now. That will cancel it out. If you multiply the left by 9 over 8, you multiply the right by 9 over 8. Again, this is over 1, so multiply straight across. 5 times 9 is 45, and 1 times 8 is 8. So x is equal to 45 over 8. And then finally, number 23 is a simple equation that is 2 steps. Bring your smaller 12d over to your larger 12 over to your larger 19 by subtracting 12 on both sides. I'm going to write it down here just to have some room. 19 minus 12 is 7 then, is equal to negative d. That's negative 1 times d. Undo that by dividing by negative 1. If you do to the right, do to the left. D is equal to negative 7 divided by negative 1 is, in fact, negative 7. Carson,